All right. The last three paragraphs discuss what happens starting in World War II, at the end of the 20th century, and then the prediction for the future, the family of the future. In World War II, there were, after World War II, this is the 1950s, there were fewer divorces in the United States. With fewer divorces, what we just read about, birth rates went up. This is what we call today the baby boomer generation. The baby boomers are the descendants or the children whose parents did not get divorced. That's why there were so many. Younger people get married younger, means they got married in their late teens and their early 20s. This was very common. For the United States, the 1950s is considered a very high period of our history, a very good economic history. Now, in the 1960s, the 1970s, the 1980s, the 1990s, again, there were more divorces, and of course the birth rate again began to fall or to decrease. Something that happened starting around the 1990s, many young children, as they got older, say into their 20s, they were still living with their parents. This was true in certain economic classes. So you had 20-year-old young men, 20-year-old young women living with their mom and dad, so therefore they're not getting married, and therefore they're not having children. They're just like 20-year-old teenagers. And then finally, the family of the future. One of the things it talks about in paragraph G is simply the idea that perhaps these things go in cycles. In other words, that countries will go through periods of times when many people get divorced and birth rates go down, and sometimes it goes back to where the traditional family becomes more common. And so they're not sure what will happen in the future for the United States, for example. We will either go back towards having traditional families, or we will begin to have all kinds of situations that we cannot predict. And so scientists kind of believe in one of those two things. Either we'll go back to the traditional family model, or we will come up with new family models that we have never come up with before. So that is in a nutshell everything that we have learned here in this particular reading. If you would, when you're done with this, please make sure you begin to do pages 90, page 91, 92, and the top of 93. That will be the homework that you will do. This will be due Friday. Friday we will discuss those pages. Thank you.